Hi, this is Cady Jax Knits, and I'm Jackie in Wisconsin. Caitlin is in Tennessee, and I'm going to see Caitlin in 2 weeks. So we will be at Black Mountain Yarn Shop to visit and see the La Bien-Aimée worsted tour. We're so excited about that. And at that time, we will, record a podcast like we usually do. But while I was at home, Sally and Lili borrowed the camera and they updated you on all of their making. And I have a special guest because Heron was here, my son, and I just made him a sweater. And I wanted to briefly introduce that video to you and Sally and Lili's video. So this is my whip, my work in progress. It's Lamb and Kid Trippy held double, and the yarn is called Birdie. It's a Surrey alpaca, and I'll tell you more about that in the next video. But just in case you're looking to get some, Stitches West is coming up this weekend, and so I know Lamb and Kid will be there and we'll have a booth there, and Sarah will also, I'm sure, go to her Instagram because you'll see lots on her Instagram too, to sort of participate from afar. I know sometimes people ask, so I pulled out my old pom-pom, although the current pom-con, oh how amazing is all of that. I think some of you have seen this sweater before. This comes from the, what issue is this? Spring 2020 issue. And here's the sweater here. It's the Niebla top right here. So it's brioche at the top, and then it's silk mohair. So here's some more pictures of that. That's what I'm wearing. I did it in a very originally neutral color, and then I wasn't wearing it. So Alyssa from Cake Wool, she overdyed it for me this glorious purple. So that's what I'm wearing today. The hat that you're going to see me wearing and Lili wearing throughout is the Manhattan hat, and I just wanted to show you that it's a triple fold hat. It's done in worsted, so it's about 12.5 inches of 1x1 rib, and it has a very neat, which Heron even noticed, it has an unusual, I would say, decrease situation where you do your decreases on either side of this. And if you want to go to my Ravelry page, I talk about in detail how I did my decreases a little bit differently. Instead of just a slip purl, I slipped each stitch, then reoriented them on the needle, and then slipped or purled through the back loop, and it made it nice. And this was a nice firm edge, and it made me wonder if I had done my purl 2 togethers. Perhaps I should have done those, like purled 2 together through the back loop, because the purl side wasn't nearly as tight and nice. I don't know if you can see, this is just the purl 2 together side. It's a little looser than the part that I describe on my Ravelry page. And then this is Kitchenered to join it in the end. And I did join it like I'm used to doing, where I slip the knits in the front and the purls in the back, but that of course does not create a seam. That would be an edge. So I had to start over and fix that. So did I say Tori Knits New York NYC? That's who designed this hat. I did it in Carnation, which is the Todd worsted, which is yak and cashmere. I believe it's like 65% yak, 35% cashmere, I'm not sure, but it has the yak gives it this really nice body. It's super warm. Absolutely everyone in my house wants a hat like this now. And I noticed Lili wears it differently than everybody wears them differently too. And you can of course make it any length you want. You could make it just no fold, single fold, double fold. That's up to you. And then in terms of the Carnation, I believe the color of the month is pistachio this month, which I don't have handy, but it's a beautiful color. Every month, one of the colors Lamb and Kid offers discounted. And it took me had 3 inches left, so 2 skeins. I had 3 inches left. So if you decide to do the triple brim, you might want to be careful, leave off a row or something. I went down 1 needle size to get gauge, and it's so cute when it's blocking at first. It's so skinny, but as soon as you wear it, of course, it's 1 by 1 rib, so it widens quite a bit. As far as the sweater behind me, I guess I do want to just talk about it was, and maybe I can wheel it in a little closer. Ooh. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see this detail. So I love the shoulder shaping, and I'm going to show you the shoulder shaping. So this is the Collett tee. I'm not sure you're seeing it very nicely there, but maybe you see this beautiful seam right here. So I wanted that to continue even though the shaping was done, so I just slipped a stitch, and that's how I did that. And I completely I left detailed instructions on my Ravelry page, but I had to just wing it in terms of, I did some short row shaping, and in terms of my decreases, of course, I leave my decrease markers in so that I can mimic them on the way back, and I take notes on the way down. But I probably knit this sleeve, 3 times until I was happy with it. But I am super happy with it now. It's Surrey held double. I just did a tubular bind off here. It was funny because I love this, this is Bakelite, and I did a, cast off would be a provisional cast off, and started with Bakelite, then switched to Trippy, and then held them together, undid the provisional cast off, and knit the stitches together, and then proceeded. And that's how I did this. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do at the bottom. I guess I could lift this up again. Not really, can't see it quite, but I didn't want the bulk of turning this over at the bottom, so I just let it hang open, and I got this is a size 4 needle, and then I bound off just a straight horizontal bind off on size 8, and I just loved that. I thought it looked dipped, and I didn't feel that it needed any more gold, but all of those things were just choices along the way. I have one more thing to show you. Okay, so even though I'm going to have a regular podcast with Caitlin, I don't want to haul everything down to Tennessee, so I thought I would show you. This is the Lumber Jack and Jill hat, and this I did in just the Todd DK. The first one I did, which you maybe saw on the last podcast, was with Todd Worsted. Also just needed a single skein of each, and I used, because it was on DK, I went down a needle size, and I used the instructions for the hat to be a large. And the only thing I did differently, again, it's been a while, I don't even remember what technique I used. I think I did the same thing for this hat as I did for that, where I cast on provisionally and then took out the provisional cast on. You have it on one needle, you have your other needle, and then you knit them together. Somebody had asked if I could make a video for that technique, and I recommended one, which I'll put at the bottom of this podcast too. That's good, but I certainly can make another one. This is in Fox and Lavender Fields, so really loving. Look at this palette. I'm going to say these are also, you might notice, these are from our beloved Pittsburg Mercantile, and they're more of those, I think it's called Sibelia earrings. They're very light, and they're rather glorious with trippy and a really pretty purple. So this is my second gingham hat. Now I'll be making dozens of these. And the last gift knit I did, Heron's going to be on, and that's my son. He's 21, and he'll be showing you. I believe I said that it was, on our last podcast, I said that it was Jared Flood. It's not. It's Veronika Avery. And you can see it had this sort of a neckline, which he opted out of. It has a bottom-up construction. You know, not a fan, and it's also flat in pieces. I, of course, knitted in the round to here. I knit the sleeves in the round to here. And then we did some trying on to just see. I bound the shoulders together, and then just to see how deep these needed to be, how long these needed to be. You'll see the fit. The neckline's different, and I want to reiterate that oftentimes you'll see two places I suggest you look for information about our makes are on our Instagram. So there's stories, and then there's the grid. And right above the grid, there's stories that we've archived and made permanent. And there's one called Tips, and I go into detail on how I do the collar, and this is the tool that I use. I love using this tool. If you don't have a provisional cast on and you're picking it up, this is so handy, this two-sided tool. And there's a video about how I did Herons. Because it was bottom up, I couldn't provisionally cast it on. They were already on my stitches. So there's a video about how to do that. And then the other thing I guess I feel is useful is about stories is they're in portrait mode. So their orientation is lengthwise. So lots of times we'll do videos of us in sweaters and we're moving and stuff like that. And that's so you can see a 360, so you can see the drape of the fabric, so you can visualize it better. And because this format, obviously you can't see where this is hitting and things like that. So those are our makes. And I would, if you don't see them, if you're not on Instagram, I would look through those if you're interested in a particular sweater and you want to see what it looks like finished. And also if you want to see pictures of it in progress, we try to show in progress pictures. The big thing that I wanted to share that I learned in this one, though, is the yarn was, I think I misspoke too in the video that I recorded with Heron that I'll plop in here afterwards. I said it was worsted spun. It's woolen spun. I do that all the time, where I know what I'm thinking, but I say the wrong thing. Sorry about that. But it has the yarn had a slight tug in my hands, and so I switched. On the second sleeve, I was knitting it in the round, and I love to use those little chiagu, the little set with the small needles. And all I did was on the passive needle, I made it much smaller. And then the active needle was the size I needed to get gauge. And that way there was less of a drag. And that made a huge difference. And I put that in our stories too. Those are the kind of things you'll find in tips. When we discover things along the way that we're knitting, we just immediately pop them in there. So we invite you to, I don't know, to be on Instagram too if you're not already. Caitlin and I will both see you in 2 weeks, and we hope you enjoy meeting Heron, which you've never seen on the podcast before, and we're going to end with Lili and Sally and all the things that they're up to. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, Heron.
Okay.
This is Heron. He's my son. He's 21.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember your baby knits? Like, do you remember any of them?
No, I mean, I have pictures of them, but that's it.
You don't remember wearing them?
No, I was like 1.
I don't know. I just wondered if you had any, like, you know, memory of enjoying them.
I mean, I don't actually have a memory of them, but like I have the pictures, which kind of bring back like I don't know,
remind you of the time
feeling than anything else. Like it's not like I have specific.
So you surprised me because we were downtown today and you said that you did not ask for a sweater, but I never would have knit you a sweater if you hadn't asked for it. So you must have.
Okay, I think it was more like what happened was, oh, isn't it funny that my mother is a YouTube knitter and I have 0 things.
So it was like peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
So your friends put you up to it.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, there was a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm. They're like, So she hasn't knit you anything? Were they throwing shade on me? Like, let's be honest.
No, I would say it was more like, so you've just been deemed unworthy.
Oh, they were throwing shade on you.
Yeah,
All right, well, I understand that. That's easy to do. So, and then with the evolution of knitting and college students, they want to have me over, right?
Yeah, now they all want to learn.
So
I'm sure they would all want to learn this hat.
So this hat is the Manhattan hat. And it's by...
There's a pun there, I feel like, that is
Manhattan hat, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, this is 1 by 1 rib and a whole lot of it. So they would get really good at knitting. This has been deemed...
And also, like, I really like how this thing in the back, I've never seen that before, and I like it.
Well, it was Kitchenered up here. It's flat up here. Is that what you mean?
Because I know what that means.
It means that instead of, normally they're like a circle and they just get cinched. Yeah. But these were 2 flat pieces that were
that's
folded
what it looks
together.
Like.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So it was comes up like that, and then they're seamed up there. But back to this sweater. You have had fit issues, which who knew you had fit issues? What are your fit issues?
Well, I have really narrow waist and broad shoulders, so I always have this problem of around my midsection.
Yeah.
I have like all this extra stuff.
Right.
And then up here, I'm like pulling on.
Will you stand up so they can see the bottom? I'll just tell them what I did is I started with a 5, then went to a 6, and then went to a size 7. And you say it could even be narrower.
Like, it could almost even be narrower right here. And but I like it. I think it works. It gives me some room to have other clothes under there and stuff.
And you asked for a different neckline.
Than this?
Than what the pattern.
Oh,
the pattern
the crew
had
neck.
this little fold thing.
Yeah, I didn't.
This was a folded down neckline. And
it had like a
collar. And I put a thing in our stories on how I did it, but it's super flexible. Like it's not sewn down anywhere, so it's very easy to get on your head and off your head. Mm-hmm. I just as a newbie, can you tell me how you feel about the fabric? How a hand knit fabric? I mean, this is Biches Bûches Lambswool, and it's all been cabled. It's worsted spun, meaning that it's got a lot of air and loft in it, so it traps heat. Have you had, tell me about your warmth and
it's super
comfort
warm.
And all of that?
Super, super warm. And I can, wear other layers under it. And also it's, but it's not super bulky and, it doesn't feel, all billowy and other stuff like other sweaters I've worn. So
it doesn't have a lot of,
because it's
weight.
dense, but it's not, super heavy.
Yeah, it's a light.
Yeah. I also don't I don't feel at risk of bumping into something and having strings get pulled out, that's happened on other things.
Sure, because
that would happen.
Because the fibers sort of cling to each other.
Yeah, they're sewed together.
And we figured out a size by measuring a sweatshirt or something that you liked.
Yeah, I think it was a fleece.
And then we went off of that. But when I knit it, I had no idea that you had this issue up here because I haven't been involved in your clothes for a while.
And I just wear baggy clothes most of the time. So.
Yeah, and it's nice to have something that fits. Fits you.
Yeah.
We did have, it was funny, we had a panic because I finished and I put it on your brother. And it was the sleeves are done. Joe is wonderful, but his shoulders are built differently than yours. He probably has my shoulders.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so it didn't take up the room like we wanted.
Yeah, and it fell too far down.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah. And what do you think of the color?
Sleeves got too long. I like the color a lot. My only qualm is that I can't hunt in it, but such is life.
What color do you need to hunt
in? Well, deer can see in the blue spectrum, but it would have to just be either an earth tone, a black or a gray would be ideal, or a dark green, I guess, or something red, anything reddish.
Interesting. I would. Well, a red sweater would be fun.
Yeah. Cool.
So the orange is so that other hunters can see you, but deer can't.
Exactly, blaze orange.
Interesting.
Just looks great.
And he hunts with a bow and arrow.
I do.
And didn't you,
Yes, I shot a deer this year.
Like a big buck, whatever.
It was awesome.
Right? Yeah, and you do all the processing and
I
everything
did all
like
butchering.
that.
It was cool.
And in terms of other projects that you're into these days, because is there anything you want to mention that you've been doing? I don't have something in mind.
Other projects?
Yeah, like you're into cooking right now, right?
Yeah.
And rock climbing.
Yep.
And the thing that I'm excited about is going to the dance studio with you.
The dance? Oh yeah, Barrio.
Now, and also I want to go roller skating. Do you do that?
I've literally never been roller skating in my life, I don't think.
Oh my god. Okay, we have to take the sweater roller skating.
Oh lord. Okay.
Okay. So you've got a taste for hand knits and you're ready for is this the last one, or are you going to expect one every year?
Yeah, I think we'll just like, I should just be your new like
muse.
Yeah, man.
I complained the entire time I was making it. You know, I'm a very selfish knitter, but
yeah. Also, I'm not a good enough model
to you're fine. You're fantastic. He's working on his smiling skills.
Yeah, not there yet.
Yeah, but that's okay. You've got great dance moves, so you've got something.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
working on that too, I guess.
Will you just give them one more like up close of the sweater? Can you go into the camera a little bit more?
Like.
Yeah, just because they can
can
see it, and just give them a spin. I know. This is always hard for us. So of course, there you go. And then
you need like a wide angle. Can't you do that on it? Does your phone do that? Where you can do like the 50%?
No, my phone does
totally
not.
Does.
That.
You can
Well,
totally
anyways, there are other photos on our Instagram,
yeah.
and this is going to be your first project. So when I do finally get invited to,
this isn't
knitting.
My first.
This one, yeah. When I get invited to knitting night, maybe I'll take you guys along.
Okay.
And they're going to supply me with Fresca.
Yeah. Plus, my friends will be more photogenic and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure. Yeah, we only let you on the podcast based on your photogenicity. Is that an adjective? How would you turn photogenic into like that kind of a
photogenity?
Photogenity. That sounds like a photo virgin.
That sounds wrong, but
yeah, it sounds
I don't
wrong.
know. I feel like that would be how you would turn Genesis into
photogenic. What is the etymology of photogenic? And what are you reading right now before we like digress?
I'm reading Wind and Sand and Stars by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, French. Pilot. It's awesome. Yeah. It's supposedly a top 10 adventure book of all time according to National Geographic, and so far I can get behind that.
I wonder if you should find out the rest of the books on that list.
Yeah, I should look. I know he has 2 more books, well, and Little Prince obviously, but there's like Night Flying and one other one I can't remember, but
yeah. All right, well, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Lili.
We're in the kitchen today, this afternoon.
Yeah, we're finding we're having a difficult time getting family podcasts going with everybody. So we're just taking a little vignette.
Yeah, our lives are just really busy right now.
And I can see, can you kind of sit up a little bit? And that's one of the reasons why we're busy. We have a full-time student at the UW and...
Oh, and I'm working at Trader Joe's.
On what, almost 30 hours?
Oh, yeah, like 25.
25. So that's a busy girl. So getting Lili to be able to take time from when she's home, it's studying and knitting. And yeah.
Usually they happen at the same time because I don't have a lot of free time left. I'm probably studying less than I'm working.
That's funny.
Also, wait, hold on. There's a little hair. Here we go.
Okay, got I've got black on, and when I've been doing all my stitches, I wear my threads all over me
Well,
like
black is
mhm.
perfect because you spend so much time with Poppy.
That's true.
But you're also a stitcher.
I'm a stitcher, so yes, and we're trying to do this podcast in this little vignette with Poppy is just over in the corner.
She's
from
being
us.
perfect.
And she's being perfect. She had her friend Bella over for a play date, which was very good because they exhaust each other.
Yeah, they're best friends.
They're best friends, so they run around and do all that stuff. But we don't have much time because this girl has to head off to work. So
Oh yeah, that's why I'm dressed like this. Is
Yes.
I go to work in like an hour.
And what are you wearing on your head?
So I have a little bit of Jackie with us right now. This is Jackie's Manhattan hat that she just made, and I don't know the designer, but I do know the pattern, and I will look it up right now. And our family loves this hat. I think we're gonna have to make a ton of
Joe
them.
has picked out 5 colors that he likes.
Tori Yu is the designer of the Manhattan hat.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. You'll see more of that on. Do you think we let this girl out?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll let her out, and we'll
We're gonna,
keep
because
talking.
what you hear is that click, click, click at the door is 8.5-month-old Poppy. I should have had her come on the podcast, but we'll do that because we're gonna have her on later. But she's a little bit. She wants to be out in the spring weather.
Yeah, she's being a communicator.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good at communication.
So you have that beautiful hat on.
Yep, so I'm going to wear this on my walk to work. I just love the triple brim. I'm sure Jackie probably talked about it when she podcasted.
I'm not. I mean, I got a preview. I did a little preview of watching the video that she recorded yesterday with she and Heron talking about his sweater, and
Yeah.
she was wearing the hat then, and she's put the hat in her Instagram feed, so it's been talked about. But it's
It's Tori Yu. We love your hat. It's so cute, and we need to make it in several different colors.
And what's the yarn?
This is I don't know if it's DK or worsted, but it's Lamb and I don't know the color, but I think Jackie said it's the matinee color for February or March.
Okay.
And the triple brim keeps your ears very nice and warm
Mm-hmm.
and sturdy on your head, and I like a good fitted hat like this.
Well, that's what I liked about it. And then I heard from Jackie and Heron that it was Kitchener stitched on the top.
Yeah, and she ended using Lamb Kid, either the DK or the worsted. She ended with like this much yarn left. Like,
So it was a 2 skein hat then.
was it 2 skeins? I thought it was just the
Oh,
one.
maybe it is 1. Well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems like it would have to be 2. It's so big. But anyway, we won't worry about it because I know she was talking about not having to open another one.
Right, because she was worried that last round would have to be
Mm-hmm.
the price of a full skein.
Yes. But anyway, so you've got a borrowed knit on, and
So-
then, yes.
Oh, just to go with it, I'm
Yes.
going to wear this mask to work, which matches. I can't wear the hat on the floor, but I'll wear it to work
Mm-hmm.
and from work.
Lili is the fanciest Trader Joe's employee, styling with her, different kinds of shoes to go with her outfit. And
These things are important.
I'm surprised you
This-
haven't gotten several box cutters in different colors.
They
That's
only
just a
come in one
green,
color.
yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But this is part of the customer experience.
It is.
Is the aesthetics, you know?
That's right. It always feels like such a happy place in there.
I love working there.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Should I talk about what I've been knitting when I'm not working?
Yes, I would love to see that.
So, I'll start with my finished objects. Heron was on the podcast with Jackie, and for his birthday, she made him that big blue sweater, and I made him, well, he knew the sweater was happening. I made, as a surprise, I was going to start with one of these. I made the Valinar Cowl, and I made it in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. This one is in Truffle Hunt. And let me pull up the designer for you. Valinar Cowl. Here's the picture front. and you could see it can be worn like a gaiter, or it can be folded over into
Like a handsome turtleneck,
yes,
like a sweater.
It's a very studious looking.
Well, it's
cowl.
perfect for a young man going to campus or anybody out in
Anybody
the weather,
going.
because it's you're not going to lose it. You don't lose your scarf. You don't have it wrapped around you in that way, but it just keeps your neck warm.
This was designed by Elena Nodell. I hope I'm saying that right. There's her name. Right there. Anyway, Elena Nodell. And so so the whip that I'm working on, the Taro sweater by Junko Okamoto, I have 3 other colors of shelter going, and this was going to be my brown color, Truffle Hunt, and I'll show you in a bit, but this brown was too similar to the gray that I'm using, so I ended up with 2 skeins that I wasn't going to use, or maybe I have 3. I think I have 3. No. Yeah, 3. I had 3 of these Truffle Hunt skeins, and, Heron's birthday was coming up, and I was like, I should make... Jackie had just come off of making baklavas and hoods, and I was inspired by that, and I thought I'd make him like a baklava. Or is it balaclava?
Balaclava. I think.
Balaclava.
Yeah, I think.
I was going to make a balaclava, and then I was searching through, and I saw this cowl, and I was like, this is kind of perfect. It doesn't need a hood because he wears so many hats already. And he wears a lot of coats too, so the cool thing about this, and he layers too, so I've heard that he not only like wears this as a little turtleneck under his coats, but sometimes he also like puts it underneath a shirt or a sweater so that this peeks out and looks like he has another sweater underneath, or just like zips up his coat and it looks like a sweater. Like, they're so handsome. I wonder if he wore them yesterday. I don't know if he...
I don't think they got so carried away with the sweater that they didn't get it. We'll have to, at some point,
gonna get pictures
we'll
of
get
him.
pictures of him in these.
Because he loves them. And then Sally was like...
I dreamed. Yes, I had a dream, right?
Yeah, I think I came downstairs one day and I was like mad working on this. Not mad in a bad way, but like mad knitting, like crazy knitting. And you said you had a dream. You're like, what if you make a couple of them?
Yeah,
like,
listen to
I
me.
think you said 2.
Well, because you were having, I said 2.
Yeah.
I was thinking that one is kind of a, a dark, very, this is a very sturdy, manly, rustic color.
Yeah.
But I just saw this vision of blue, kind of a bright blue. And green, teal, sort of like, whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. You were saying blue because he wears maroon a lot. And complementary color to maroon is like a teal or a blue. And I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. I'm going to make a teal one too. And then that wasn't enough for me because since you said maroon, I was like, I should make a maroon one too.
Yeah, and then I ended up having, I had purchased 2 skeins of shelter way back when we just closed down for, when we got these all from Firefly and Beaver Dam.
Purchased from Firefly.
And I had ordered them when we shut down for the pandemic, and then I never got around to doing anything with it. And so, ta-da!
So, not 1, not 2, but 3. So we got the brown one. Then I think this one came second. I made the, I think it's called Homemade Jam. This is the
and that is
color.
Very handsome. That's just like...
He loves this one too.
Yeah, Jackie likes that one too. That's like with her.
I like this one too, like jewel tones. This one's really pretty. And I haven't said this yet, but I loved using shelter for this because I don't know what they do to their yarn, but they're flecks of different shades of the main color in it. Like this brown one had a bunch of white flecks in it. This homemade jam one, this was probably my favorite because of these red
gorgeous.
spots and blue spots. It was like just so much fun and also feels really good.
And this was a nice project to have in your bag when you were in classes.
Yes,
Because
that
you
was
could just
the
knit
other
the
reason.
small,
That's the other reason I loved it, is because I brought them on campus in my backpack, and easily made, I think I made one a week for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, because you were kind of pushing it to get that done by February 9th.
I even brought them to work and knit them on my break. And this third one is tartan. Yes, tartan is the colorway. And also, I modified the pattern. I think tubular cast on is in the pattern for the top, and the rib is as pattern, but the bottom I didn't like, is like the way it's written is to have a couple rows of garter at the end, and that's how you finish, and then you bind off. And to me, it just like, it didn't like lay flat, in my opinion, and it didn't like, this looks like a hood of armor, or like a sweater. It looks also like a sweater, and I wanted to bring back this big rib at the bottom, so I did a 1x1 rib instead of garter, which is different from the pattern if anybody is going to make it. And then I just bound off in tubular. Something funny is Jackie and I realized we do tubular different.
Yes, that was funny.
Not too much different, but I don't do I didn't know about this. The 2 rows were at the very end before you weave in your, well, I guess instead of weaving in the tubular last piece, Jackie does those 2 last rows where you knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, and then purl 1, or slip 1, purl 1, or what, those 2 complementary rows. I didn't know about that for the ending, so I just do the one where you measure like 3 times the circumference flat, and then you cut your yarn that length, and then you weave it in through the stitching, or through the stitches. Anyway, we thought that was funny. She was like, it's just that I didn't know we did that differently. So,
Well, and the end result is very nice.
yeah,
So,
I mean,
Yeah, so whatever. And I got a kick out of it because you just kind of like, oh, that's nice, Jackie, and continued on with your own way because it works for you.
yeah, well, I didn't understand how it was different, and that I was doing it wrong. I think I was probably annoyed with myself, like, what? I'm not wrong, but I just did it different, and it's worked out fine.
Oh, sure.
So
It's worked out more than fine.
yeah, I wasn't trying to be stubborn. I was like, I am stubborn. But
it's okay.
I'll look into that, because it does her technique does make sense for things where that slight like decrease in width on the tubular bind off matters, where that would feel good. Like I'm not sure what kind of pattern, but it is something I'll keep in mind.
Yeah, but you're doing fine here, so and they're beautiful.
These were awesome.
And they were so well received. You knocked his socks off. He was so surprised. He wants them, and we should.
He loves them.
He loves them. Yes.
Shall I say what that inspired?
Yeah, I think you should.
Here's the 3 leftovers from the ones I made. The truffle hunt, tartan, and homemade jam. And you visited Firefly Fibers with your friend Mary. Do you want to tell that first, and then I'll show them?
Oh, that was wonderful. I have not been into a brick and mortar store since we closed down for the pandemic. And so getting the call from Mary, do you want to go right over to Beaver Dam, which is, 45 minutes from here or something? And unfortunately, we only had an hour, but that was enough. We got in there, and that store is just beautiful, and she has it so well laid out. It's beautiful brick walls. The aesthetics are just gorgeous, and she has an incredible array of yarns. I cannot wait to get you in there. It seems like there's even more than when I last was there. So years ago. But Brooklyn Tweed Shelter was like a whole wall of it, and so Lili had just, when Lili says something, I listen, and she goes, oh, I'd love to make one of these in every color. This is such a fun pattern. So she and Jackie were kind of going back and forth on, well, what colors would you use? So they did this little, you came up with like a little 9 grid of the colors that you thought were really cool. And of course, I said, send that to me. So she sent it to me, and then when I get there, there they are, and it's so distracting for me with color because there's so many to pick from, but it helped to have her wish list, even though it wasn't labeled. I had to kind of, dig around. Yeah, I dug around, but I found, because sometimes when you're in person with yarn, it's different than when you're on the computer with yarn.
That's so true.
But anyway, so I managed to get, I can't remember, did I get you 4 different colors? Yeah, 4 different colors.
5.
Oh, that
4.
was, that was later. I got 4 colors, and we were kind of quickly checking out because I didn't want the person that was working there to have to be late. There's just not any, that's not nice on a Saturday night. So anyway, I checked out in a hurry, and then I went back to the wall again, and I found this color that Lily's got her hand on. It's called what?
This is Foothills.
Foothills. And and I just kept going like, this isn't on Lily's list, but oh my God. I mean, I fell in love with it instantly. It's kind of a gray with yellow and cream, and it's just a beautiful, neutrally gray-green, would you say?
Yes, and it was speaking to you.
It was.
It
It just kept calling to me, but Mary was checking out, and the clerk was having trouble with her computer, and I thought, oh, I ought, because I had already ordered the other ones, not knowing I was going to Firefly, and they were going to be mailing them to me. So I had even gotten those. I had paid for them, and all I had to do was say, oh, don't mail them, I'll pick them up. And so that transaction had already taken care of. I had resisted any other yarn purchases, though that was in itself difficult because there I was with all that, yarn.
How do you make choices?
And I wanted, there were just a lot of beautiful yarns. So we'll go back. We'll get Jackie and we'll do a field trip.
We'll have a day off someday.
But anyway, so I left this one behind. And then when I got back here, I don't know if you told me, but we figured out, well, that was on Lily's list. It was right there in that little grid in the corner, and I hadn't recognized it from the color from that thing. So Jackie goes, oh, what color is it? So she ordered that for Lili. And so now Lili, whether she wants to or not, has 5 shawls, or 5 of these ready.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I know.
Because they could be for Heron. They could be family cows. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Because everybody loves them.
I thought this was so cute, Foothills, though, that you were smitten with the color, and you were describing this color that you picked up, and you were like gray with green,
and it just kept calling to me.
And I was like, "Do you mean Foothills?" And you were like, "Yes." So we were telepathically.
Yeah, Lili was sending me the message, even though she was at work at the time. She was sending it to me. Pick it up. You're right there. You got it in your hands. Listen to your instincts, and But anyway,
so here's Foothills. Ooh, okay. Here's Blanket Fort, which is like a purple with red and white flecks in it. Here's Fossil, which is like...
I love Fossil. It's such a beautiful creamy white.
That one's going to be classic and good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we lost you.
Oh, there we go. Well, I'm back here.
This one is Hayloft.
I love that one too.
This one's going to be epic.
Mm-hmm.
And Heron doesn't think he would wear this color, but I think he would.
Mm-hmm. I
think it would match the browns and the reds he wears. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is Button Jar, which just makes me think of you even before you got it. Because
all the button jars, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful green.
Yes. Green with yellow and blue specks in it.
So anyway, and this is gorgeous yarn. I've used it on my shawls, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever used it.
No, I don't think you've had it.
Prior to this. No, not myself. But I've witnessed you all using it before.
Yeah. Well, I made, I think, the Courage shawl out of it, and I can't remember several shawls that I've used this in. I love it.
And
Because it's so lightweight. There's something about it's very lightweight and yet it's very warm. I don't know what kind of it's, everybody's familiar with shelter, I think, but it's...
Yeah, it's not like we're introducing something novel to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you're in Wisconsin or online, just check out Firefly's Firefly fibers. Is that what they call it? Okay.
She has, like we said, she has so many colors
Mm-hmm.
that will make it hard to choose.
Yes.
What else did I want to say about this? Well,
that was the thing that you were thinking about making with this?
Oh, that is true. Yeah. That is so true. So these 3 leftover skeins, one of each of these, because I think I calculated it would take 3 skein, or I'd have to break into a 3rd skein to finish one of these, but it only ended up taking 1.5 skeins when I made them. And I also didn't do the garter, I did a little rib, so that might be part of it, I don't know. But because of that, there's 1 extra skein of each of these original 3 colors. So I was just looking through some 3 color hats, and I don't know if these 3 are quite high contrast enough for this, but I want to show this hat anyways because I really liked it. This is
cute.
The Mojave Beanie, designed by, it doesn't say here who designed it, but, Sarah Cohen. Sarah Cohen is the designer. And it's a worsted weight pattern, 3 color. I think I would probably want a more high contrast. Oh, I mean, this could be the brim, and these 2 could be the
That'd be fun to play around with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then it could be worn with all 3 of the,
Yeah. Or, you could do...
Well, Heron had even laughingly said when they were supposed to be we just miscommunicated. I don't know. We have so much going on that it's hard to know whether you've actually told somebody something or whether you meant to tell them, or most likely you told somebody else in the family. We assume if you tell, Jamie tells everybody else, you tell me. We all know, it's like we all read each other's minds, but that doesn't always work. But anyway, Heron had thought wearing those 2 together might be a stitch.
This with the hat?
Yes, he thought that would be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Matches the mask I'm wearing today.
Yeah, he thought that would be really fun to wear. So we'll have to get him to try that combo. He's
not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Oh.
And it matches your nail polish.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Your nails have a little specks of green in there.
I was talking with one of my coworkers. I had red on my nails. I normally have black. I had red. And then I was asking him, what color should I do next? And his favorite color was green. And also, Megan Fox's nails were green recently. So
you thought that would be...
I should have green nails.
Try. Well, that looks good.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Side note, I am obsessed with Megan Fox. So
yes. And then most of us will be going well, who's Megan Fox? But anyway, Google it.
Google her.
Yeah.
Watch some movies. You'll have a good time. So then...
How this originally started. Yeah, where you originally started this whole digression.
Yeah. Where it started, Truffle Hunt was going to be used in my sweater Taro by Junko Okamoto. And this is the sweater I'm referring to. I think it came out in December. And ever since it came out, I was like, I definitely want to make this sweater.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Because it's so casual and boxy, and you can make it oversized.
So oversized, yeah.
And it looks very like you're going to a cabin or you're in college or something.
Yeah, which you are. You could go to a cabin.
I could go to a cabin. Yeah. So, although Truffle Hunt didn't make it,
for good reason,
For good reason. I mean, it was meant to be something else.
And you would have been so frustrated.
I know. If you guys had only seen,
Yes.
but I didn't keep
Can
it.
we look at this?
Yes. This is my main color, Storm Cloud, and this is Truffle Hunt.
And where Truffle Hunt is darker, because you even knitted about, what, 4 inches or something?
Oh yeah, I went a good.
Or that's a lot
Good
on
amount.
this pattern, because
And
it's
I-
very wide.
I could not see the difference between the two of them when I was knitting. I had to be like, and I know one looks darker than the other right now, but really when you've got one strand of each of them, there was no telling the difference when I was doing it. And especially with a low contrast, I'm using, what is the white one called? With a low contrast white, oh, I'll get her.
Okay.
Wood smoke.
Wood smoke.
So
Yeah, there just was not enough. Oh, and this is Lily's. I'm going to just hold it up while we let the poppy in. And I'll let you take over. I love this.
who came over? Should we say hi?
Oh my goodness, look at that nose. Oh no, but careful because she's muddy.
This is Poppy, everybody.
Yeah, Poppy is muddy.
Too big for me to be sharing.
And
with.
she's also a little muddy. Anyway,
Anyway,
it is spring in Wisconsin.
yeah. This is the back of my tarot sweater.
I'm going to just shut her in here. Yeah, just a second. Let me get her. You keep talking about that.
Okay.
Podcasting with Puppy.
This is organic.
Come on, Pops.
This probably is hard to see, but it's the back panel of my sweater. And the ribbing gets added later. And I think after I finish, it's knit flat at this point, and I finish the right shoulder. Once I finish the left shoulder, I think that, let's say it folds over to the front. I think once you do this shoulder, they come together at the V-neck and you go down. Oh, and I should tell my other two colors. So, wood smoke is the white. The gray is storm cloud. The black is cast iron. And my brown substitute comes from Derurum Natura,
Oh, yeah.
and it's Gilead, and this is caramel.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I got this one from the Knitting Loft, and my 4 and then 3 Brooklyn Tweed Shelters are from Black Mountain Yarn Shop
Right.
in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyways, I'm really happy that I went with a different brown because you can actually tell a difference.
Oh, it makes a big difference. Just beautiful.
And even though
It's like an old blanket, kind of. You know, those old tapestry blankets or woolen blankets.
oh yeah,
It's just gorgeous.
I love this. It's a little bit harder to knit in class than the cowls because I have 4 skeins on it.
She says so. You know, like, I can't even imagine trying to do it without, you know, complete attention on it, but
Well, can I tell you something embarrassing?
yeah.
Well, okay, I was sitting in my vampire class, which is awesome. I'm taking a class about vampires in literature and film. And anyways, I was sitting in there knitting, and I had 2 skeins going at the same time for color work. And one of them went rolling under the seats in front of me, and then the girl
good.
sitting in front of me saw it happen. And I was just like,
Oh, dear.
and she was like, "Do you?" And I was like, "Nope, just leave it." And then, but I continued knitting because I could still move the other one around it. I also opened my water bottle, and when I dropped that one skein, I also spilled half my water on me. So I was just like to my friend, I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm so embarrassing." And then at the end of class, I got up and got my yarn and had to send it rolling under the seats from where it came. And I said to the girls in front of me, I was like, sorry for the distraction. I'm sorry to be distracting. And they were like, no, that was so funny. And I was like, oh, that's good.
Good. You were amused, and it didn't roll at the professor's feet or anything like that, which would have been, yes, that would have been a movie scene, right?
Yeah, I think I might have not recovered from that. Just it didn't go that far. It just stopped a couple rows before the very front. Luckily.
But now you're a little bit more careful about where your yarn goes while you're knitting.
Yeah, I gotta be more attentive. So, some interesting things that I noticed so far about this is that it is knit flat, and I wasn't crazy about that at first because it seems slower, and purling isn't my favorite thing to do. But I'm okay with it now because it kind of, like you said, it's like I sometimes forget about the backside, and seeing it so often just makes me feel like I'm making a really big, pretty fabric, just like a blanket.
Oh, yeah, it's just gorgeous.
I like that you said that because that is something that I've been realizing about this. And I've never made a Junko Okamoto sweater before, so this has been really fun. I like the landscape of her patterns, how they're oriented this way instead of long way. Just think it's really pretty. And at the end, I think you embroider, like I know for sure there's going to be brown embroidery on top of here. And I think black goes here.
Oh, so it's adding just little accents of... Yeah. Well, that'll be pretty.
It also is going to make it more tactile, like you'll feel that more. And, I think her pronouns are she. This is a masterpiece. I am really enjoying it.
Yeah, and I've seen some. I mean, all the ones that Jackie's done, I just love. So it's cool that you're doing that. So, and it's going fast, really.
Yeah, I mean I was to where this brown is when I set it down to make Heron's cowls, and then the rest of that took a week after that. That'll. But let's be honest, I probably need to do a little less and study a little more. So maybe it'll take me a little longer than a week for the other side.
Yeah, but you've got a very, have you got a goal, like something happening in April for you, or, yeah?
Oh, do you mean my birthday?
Well, I'm not only your birthday, but, it's a big deal birthday, right?
It is a big deal birthday. I'll be 21, and I think this might be too warm for that.
Yeah, that's true.
I do want to make it before it gets too hot.
You want to, because it's almost like a jacket. Well, it is a jacket.
Yeah.
So you could wear it on a chilly day, and
Yeah, even if I don't get to wearing it, if I finish it like right as it's getting warm, I want it to be made for next winter, and I don't want it's really warm on your hands.
Well, you want to have it right there in the fall, so you can just have it as soon as the chill starts hitting the air, and the same way with the cowls, because we're soon, Heron left these here, and he was all like, he didn't know if he could leave all three or if he should keep one because he wears it every day. And then he decided, oh, okay, I can wait a couple of days because it's going to be, in the 50s now?
Yeah, today's too warm.
It's too warm today, yeah, so he wouldn't have worn this. But, yeah, so there's your knitting.
Thank you for letting me share that.
Well, we've missed you, so this was just a great opportunity because, we have Lili just for short periods of time. She and I are still more of the night crew that I stay up and, well, actually the ladies have been staying up until 10, so they sometimes get to see you and you're, I see you've got another little.
I want to go grab a little piece of paper. Jackie gave me a little something I want to just promote real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
So, I think Jackie just thought of me for Valentine's Day. With this little gift. It comes with like 4 or 5 of these little heart stitch markers with a little like gray black stone on it.
Oh,
so
those are cute. Yes.
And they're made by Woolen Forest. These are forest charms. This is the cute little business card.
Mm-hmm.
And here is their information. So cute. And it's so like serendipitous that they just match my work right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So
the
you
little
just
gray,
have those little, that's just adorable.
So cute.
That's what I love about stitch markers. It's just little jewelry for your knitting.
Yes.
And get it back on the needles.
Yeah, I think one dropped off somewhere, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. You probably have to use those, whatever those little, what did they call them, stoppers or something?
Oh yeah. Speaking of, I have some of those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my mess.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like what we have, like just a little bit of time. I'm going to probably end up doing another session, but I should probably, you can ask me, I mean, have you got more to share
No.
about you personally or anything you're fine, school's going good for you, other than you'd rather be working right now, but
Yeah, it's my my little internal struggle is I love my job so much, and school, other than the vampire class, is just, I think spring semester is just really hard
oh, I think
because
so
it's
too.
gross out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite spring yet; it's still gross,
Mm-hmm.
and
And it's longer than it seems. I mean, it's, when do you have spring break?
second week of March,
Okay, so that's coming up.
which at least we have spring break. We didn't have that last year.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, last year you weren't in person though, right?
No.
So
We weren't.
it wouldn't make as much sense. But anyway, so well, we've had a busy household. Like I was saying, we had Jamie took a new job as a principal in a small school, and I'm going to let her tell you all about it. It's like the perfect magic of the right person in the right place and everything falling together, and I'm so proud of her, and I think it's a really good thing. But as we know, that's keeping her very busy.
Yes.
Very busy.
I'm so proud of her too because my mom was a principal
Mhm.
and Jamie's always wanted this.
Yes, and you know how much work it is when you, yeah. Oops, I got mud all over my
Oh,
sleeve.
did I get that with the puppy?
Yes, it's okay. I'm, mud puppy, but yes, so we have Jamie doing that, and I've been, I have a whole, like I've been working on since I did the last series, which was the While Poppy Naps series, which I have to chuckle now because Poppy at 8.5 is very unpredictable about when she naps. And when she naps, she is very light sleeper. Anybody comes through, any of her people, and the people in this house are just popping through.
There's so many of
There's
us.
so many of us,
We're
and yeah, and everybody's like, Jackie and Joe comes in. Jackie and Jamie usually are out of the house by 7:20, 7:25.
Oh my gosh.
Something like that. So they're up early. I get up, make coffee, kind of take over the poppy care and all that. So anyway, we don't have to go into all those details. But then the younger, like you don't have to get up, and usually you don't have to be any place till 11 usually.
Yeah.
And then Joe has his senior year where he doesn't need to be at school until 11 either. So there shoots my morning, because it's the coming through and the puppy doesn't sleep. That's what I was getting at, is the Poppy Nap series is officially over. Yes,
That's funny.
yeah, and it's so cute because I think there's still three quilts in the Etsy shop with that title on them. But now I have switched gears into, I've been trying to figure out exactly what to call this. It's a vintage kind of bringing the past into the present. Those of you that have followed me know that I love old fabrics, old 30s, 40s, that era, and I've worked with, the Hexie project where I took that anonymous quilter's box or bag of Hexies that she left behind and made all kinds of quilts out of them. And I started this year making, I'm just gonna like show one of these. I have been getting more vintage. I think what you'd call them, they're blocks from quilters have left behind. I don't get quilts or unfinished tops or any of that stuff that somebody else might make a quilt out of or, find some more use for. But I do find on Etsy and other places, I've had them in my own thing, which is when a quilter makes a quilt, quite often there will be leftover blocks, like they don't all fit together. Or what will happen is the quilter just has to go, whatever, she's ill, she leaves behind her unfinished projects. And heaven knows, when I find the end of my life, I'm sure I will be leaving many unfinished projects because that's the way life is. And so what I've been doing is buying up these little bits of treasures from the past. And Etsy makes that so fun to do because you just have to go vintage quilt blocks and, they'll pop up. And I think this is probably, I should never say never, but I think I've kind of run my course on this.
Oh, well, for what's out there right now.
For what's out there right now. But, for now, well, I also I have some other quilts in mind, too, that I've been storing fabric, all those Japanese fabrics that I have, because I've been Circa Fabrics, Sarah from Seattle, is she from Seattle or Portland? I can never remember, but anyway, Circa Fabrics.
Yeah,
Or
Portland's
Washington.
Oregon, so
She's
somewhere
from
in
Washington. Okay, yes. Anyway, she has a marvelous little Etsy business where she finds vintage fabrics in all different, types. And so at first I was drawn to all these Japanese ones, which I'm storing and have like quilts in my mind that are just waiting to pop out, but I need Poppy to sleep longer or have Poppy in her adult phase where I don't have to wonder what she's doing when she's not sleeping. So that's going to be put away for a little while. I needed something that was smaller that I could just fill my time with. And I came up with, I love circles. And so what I've been doing is I have been taking circles, I cut them out of, like if I find a block, and there's a whole series of these that are done from leftover wedge pieces that people were probably going to be making like a wedding, the wedding quilt, the wedding ring quilt, or they call them pickles, and there's all kinds of old patterns that use that shape. Well, they're left behind, and what I've been doing is just cutting out a circle, which is like a window into this fabric, and it oftentimes has the quilter's little stitches in it underneath. And I've been having a ball, just because once I cut them out, they become little vignettes, little I'll get the ones. Jackie showed some of them on the podcast. She and Lili.
This is our favorite drop ever.
Yes. So there's just, I can't, I'm not even sure how, some of them I'm going to keep before I drop them, and I think that one I'm keeping for me, but I'll still show you because I just love them. These fabrics, the little fabrics in these, and that backing is a linen from a linen skirt that you found in one of those.
Like a dig and save.
Dig and save. Yeah, so it was just a cute thing, and she brought, Lili is like scouting these resale shops, and when she finds cottons or linens, something that she thinks I'll like.
Well, and this one was so pretty. It was like a wrap skirt, a tie, and I was like, it's not a very cute shape, but it's a beautiful fabric.
Yeah, and so I've been using it. I've got more of it, but I just thought it was so pretty. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think I'll be selling that particular one. Just the ones with the blue around them.
They're like...
It's like a little,
There's a book from my childhood. I cannot remember the name, and neither can my sibling. But it's about the moon, and a little rabbit bakes a cake the shape of the moon to bring to their friend, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's the moon to me.
Yeah, they do look
I
like.
don't know if
yeah.
that's what you made.
No, I was thinking of calling them lunar, vintage, lunar. But that's what it looks like to me, little moons.
I love them.
That particular series, because the sky on this one is kind of dreamy. It's a
Yes,
it's a shot cotton, so
this
it's,
cotton.
yeah, I love those.
It's got like orange in there.
Mm-hmm. So those are beautiful. So this is the little stack, and then I'll show you the hexagons, but this little stack, and I'm making more of these, is what Jackie has been showing, and she's so cute. She's like, because both Lili and Jackie want some of these. I'm not sure how many of them will actually make it to the Etsy shop, but I will try to get some of them in there. I'm kind of shooting for, at this point, March 15th. I will give you guys plenty of notice, at least a week's notice, because I have a lot of things, lots. I mean, there's stacks here, plus stacks of things. I'll show you.
They look like brochures to me.
Yeah.
And I love brochures.
Yeah, I think this one is a long one. It goes like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have been loving this because this is about the time of, it's about the amount of time that I can spend. But just to give you, it kind of reminds me of my hexagons in that I have like stashes of these that I have sewn down the patches to. So I promise you I will give you a better indication. Not the whole shop is not just going to be filled with circle quilts, but there are lots of circle quilts because I look at them as this fabric is like, it's just priceless. I mean, it's out there. You can find vintage fabric, but finding it pieced together like this, I'm trying to honor the past quilter and also bring my own work into it. So it's there's something really special when the little circles get out of the form that they were originally in. I think it's just been it's been so much fun. Look at those. I know.
Oh
Then some of them I just, I look at it because the details in these, I think these fabrics are from the 30s. Some of them would have had to have been the 20s too. There are a lot of feed sack fabric in there, 40s. But the details in there, they sort of remind me of a Liberty print because some of them are so geometric and so, like this little one right here that has so much going on in it. Like they'll have diamonds within squares, within, it's, and then that one I put the little buttons on.
This is the only one with buttons on it,
Yeah,
I
it's the
think.
only one with buttons on it.
Can I compliment you real quick?
Yes. I love it.
Yes. I'm drooling over here because everything you're saying about the center circles is true too, but you matched bindings to this perfectly for all of them. Like they wouldn't have any different bindings. They're like, I'm gonna show like a side view. They're magnificent. They're like,
oh, Lili.
they're like a stack of cards or something. Like,
Well, and they're like one of a kind. I kind of have this like fun. Sometimes I'll take a series and the backs are the same, but the bindings are different. There's always, because the circles, of course, there's no circles. There's no two circles that are exactly alike.
it's true.
None of them are.
That's
And
true.
some circles I like more than others. Some circles I can hard laminate. I wonder if I showed
Oh my goodness.
this one is so dang cute. Look at that little bunny.
I love that one.
I do too. It sort of reminds me of the little bunny in the moon. I love that. So
Oh,
then
that's
these have buttons on them.
That's cute. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that.
So So there's just, and then this series of them is a little bit more
I
Japanese
love
looking because it
this
has that
series.
beautiful. This is the Circa Fabrics fabric think it's a 1980s Japanese
border?
weave. Yeah, this one.
Oh, these. I forget how many pieces are in this drop.
Oh, there are, because last night I couldn't stand it. I just made a few more. I'm having a hard time stopping.
It's not a bad thing.
No. And then I also did right after I did the Hexies last year, I came across, and I think this was from Circa Fabrics also, a stack of already put together hexagons. And there were enough of them that you could probably, so they have pretty raw edges. I've raw edged them down. And what I've done is I've taken them and put them on top of a white on white quilt. So they're using my white on, I love white on white fabrics. So they're, but they're just rough edged down. And I feel like that holds the integrity of what this, I wouldn't want to cut that hexagon, that really shows what the hexagons were all about. The ones that I made last year, that's the form that they were designed to go into, were those flower garden patterns. But by taking them and putting them on, I've placed them on top of fabric that, some of my vintage linens that I've been using on my white and white quilts, or, there's little special touches in each one. So that's just a preview. There's also a few quilts that have nothing to do with, I don't know, I can take one of those out because it's different.
Oh, this is true.
These are my doodles. This is more reminiscent of what I tend to do, which is a doodle quilt. And I have, like these are the kind I always say to people, you can choose however you want to have it sitting on a table, or if you want to hang it up, you can put it however it best fits your life.
I wish you could see everything on this table.
Yes, it's a bit of
I wish we could keep everything on this table.
I know, you are so funny. I hesitate to share. This is kind of a fun one.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah, this is one, it goes like this. This one reminds me of a mid-century, like it would be beautiful in a 1950s, 60s decor, because it's very simple.
Yeah.
But it just has these beautiful brown and blue, I just love the circles in this one. It just went with all these fabrics. So anyway, I'm not going to show you anymore, because believe me, that's like, what would you say, that's a half, or do you want me to show them something else?
Oh no, I was going to offer you and show them your knitting.
Oh, my knitting, yes. This is when Poppy's napping next to me. I can still knit, because I think we're down to one. This is it. My fog line sweater is coming along.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
the back. Let's put it to the
somebody's
front.
home.
Yep, that would be.
And this fits Sally perfectly.
Yeah,
she
I love
tries
this.
it on as she goes,
Mhm.
and it fits perfect.
Yeah, it is such fun.
Which makes it's even more of a masterpiece.
Yeah, no, I have loved that because I can try it on. It's a gorgeous pattern. That's from Brienne Moody. Brienne Moody. The fog line sweater, and there's Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
So we are at the, we're going to have to, you and me, you have to get off to work pretty darn quick, but you're going to show her the sweater.
I just want to find, I'm going to make sure. Yeah, Brienne Moody.
Brienne Moody, yeah. I've made her shawl or her scarf. Lily's actually got one of those in her queue.
It's in the works.
It's in the
whip
works.
in one
It's a
of my
whip.
bags.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, if we only had time to do our whips.
I know.
We'll get to them eventually. Oh my goodness, Jamie has brought in
She's got cake.
cake. We gotta go. Yes. We gotta go. That's what you get. I mean, it's awesome. So we love you guys.
And I love you.
I love you too.
And
This is fun.
And I love Jackie, and I love Jamie, and we love Heron,
And Joe.
and Joe, and Poppy.
And Poppy. Yeah, we're having
And- And we don't, I don't have the right words to say, but we love everybody out there too who might be affected by what's going on right now.
Right, because this is, oh yeah, I know. That's true. So we send a whole collective family love out to the world to hope that things get better very soon.
Yep.
So take care, everybody, and we'll see what we get pieced into the rest of the Jamie and whatever's going to happen later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.